We are here at Fort William. We are all set to go. Just waiting for the doors to close on the carriages. The front ones didn't open for whatever reason. But according to the ETA, the door's shut. We are due to arrive at Mallaig in about an hour and 45 minutes, so 10:30. That means it will certainly be night time by the time we get there. You can clearly see the light is starting to fade. Now I am just hoping that we are going to be okay as far as doing this leg, because our radio does not give us access to the token system.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the tone.
This is an NRN radio test call.
This is an NRN radio test call.
So there we go, test call is fine. But we are on the final stretch as we leave Fort William, leaving it in exactly the same route that we took to come in here. So we are entering 60 mph zone, but we are not going to be doing 60 for very long at all, because we are then going over the points that takes us to the actual Mallaig line. So I mean, we can at least accelerate. We can accelerate up to 40. There we go, we're in the 40 zone. So here we are on the turning. This is taking us up to the or onto the Mallaig route. In fact, we are already on it. So as we head even further into the Scottish Highlands, we have a Class 37 there, specifically a Class 37/4. Oh, there we go. So definitely not going to be getting a clear run on this one. We're on a 1:1:37 downhill, which I didn't notice until it was too late. So this does mean no clear runs on any stage of the entire Behemoth Run. For routes like this particular part, I'm not surprised, but I would have liked to have done at least a couple of clear runs on the shorter sections, which really shouldn't have been particularly difficult. So we are approaching Bannerby station. So that thing I just passed there it's part of the whole token system. So this is where I really start to hope that we can get through here okay. So as we are coming out of Bannerby station, we are reduced to a mere 5 mph. I know somewhere around here there is an old and very weak bridge I mean, I assume that 5 mph is where it is. So that looks very much like a red signal for us. Now, question is, can we get through it? Don't need to, which is a good job because I was pressing tab and it, yeah, nothing was coming up. So I'm hoping that this route has been coded in such a way that if it detects you are in, we'll call it the wrong train. Basically, if you're in anything other than a class 37/4, it will take that into account and automatically sort of set everything so that we can proceed without the token. So, right, our speed is now fine. We're in the 5 mph zone, and yet that is the bridge. This looks very much like yeah, part of the Caledonian Canal. Stuff getting through the stairway there, the lock stairway. It'll take you pretty much all day just to get through that. Well, let's get ourselves at least up to about 5.5. Rear of the train is still on that bridge. As soon as we're off it, we can get a bit of speed up. We can only really go up to 25. And we're now on a 1 in 80 uphill climb. And just notice the speed absolutely plummeting. So, right, we're into the 40 zone, so we'll take it up to 25. So, yeah, here's hoping that the game has been, or the route has been coded well enough, and yeah, it should, yeah, notice that we are not in a 37/4. Of course, the only time we can do this route in a loco other than a 37/4 is if we are doing a quick drive scenario, which we are. Well, actually, I'll say that there's, yeah, the yeah, there's the workshop scenarios and stuff like that. So that box we just passed there would, I think, have triggered the radio signal in the 37, which of course we don't have, but it certainly looks like it's all set up so that it's just going to ignore all of that. It is highly unlikely that we will encounter any other trains along this run. Not least because, yeah, the vast majority of this run is single track. But I think that is why we're getting a lot of AWS triggers, because yeah, it can't do the radio signals, so it's using those as an alternative. So here we are at Corpac station. I don't know what loch this is. It could even be no, I'm not talking. I was just about to say it could even be the coast, but yeah, we've got a bit of a clue here to say that no, it's not. So this 10 mph section goes on for a fair while, but I think it actually changes. Yeah, there you go. We had no notification of it, nothing in the route display, no trackside signs or anything, but yeah, we're now into a 40 zone, which I will quite gladly take. So that's the next of the radio receivers. So we are on a 1 in 81 uphill. Now, that red is for us. No, it's not, it's just changed to green. So I get the feeling, yeah, these signals are going to be doing that quite often. We'll be encountering them and they will change to green pretty much as we approach them. No shortage of level crossings around here. It's almost like we're back on the East Coast main line. Now, I don't know for certain, but I think that section that's just gone off to the side there is the part that takes you to Oban. The route that takes you to Oban, the part. Jesus Christ. I'd like to think by now I sort of, you know, knew at least some terminology. So you can see that the sun is, yeah, quite low in the sky. It's very nearly 9 PM, which means we have been on the go for almost 14 hours doing this route. We're now on a 1 in 60 downhill. Mallaig is 36.5 miles away, but it does really look like it will certainly be night time by the time we get there. So it is a bit of a shame that we're going to be going through some of this at night and we're not going to be able to see the scenery quite so well. Especially as this is the most scenic part of the entire route. So this Loch Eel, I think it is, yeah. Outward bound platform 1 there. I'm not sure if it is an actual station. If it is, it's a extremely small one. But as we pass it, we get another speed increase up to 55. Yeah, here is Loch Eel. I mean, I guess it is a station, but my God, talk about tiny. Again, yeah, there's that stop marker, and that's where we would have had to do the token exchange. But it has, yeah, just completely ignored it. So I think we're all right. We might have a few spads when we get to the end of this, but I think on this route, if it's giving out spads for passing those stop signs, we can't really avoid them. So, here we are. So, I mean, the previous station, or whatever it was, obviously helped with identification a bit. So this is Loch, actually I think it's Loch Ely, not just Loch Eel. But yeah, I mean, that is absolutely the kind of view you think of when you think of Scotland. It's a glorious sight. So Loch Eel side is next station. There aren't a vast number of stations on this particular route, but yeah, for this first part of leaving Fort William, they do seem to come along fairly sort of thick and fast, and then you get this big old gap of absolutely bugger all in the way of stations, or indeed pretty much anything trackside, and then suddenly another station will show up. station coming up pretty sharpish. Here we are. I would imagine, with the exception of yeah, the two obvious ones, you know, at Fort William and Mallaig, the two terminuses, I would imagine all the other stations on this route are all request stops. I can't believe that any of them would actually be considered compulsory. Because on this particular line that we are on now, there's part of the West Highland line. I mean, the sleeper trains don't even come onto this line. They go as far as Fort William. That's it. So a train like like this 220 would never come anywhere near this route. I don't think anybody, you know, living on or around this area would take one look at this and wonder what the fucking hell this thing's doing up there. So we're on a 1 in 80 uphill, but very soon it's about to become downhill. 1 in 70. We'll let the gravity increase our speed. Now, ETA Mallaig time is coming down pretty much constantly, and I don't actually mind that. Hopefully it will mean that yeah, we'll be able to reach there just before it gets really dark. Right, we're now on a 1 in 90 uphill, so let's try and get our speed back up to 55. Speed reduction coming up to 40, and I have a feeling the majority of the rest of this particular route will be done at 40. So yeah, on a 1 in 60 now, so our speed is really going to drop, but Actually, yeah, put it in notch 1 and we're okay. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much the norm now as far as our speed is concerned on the remainder of this route. So we're now on a 1 in 50 uphill. And notch 1, we're still losing speed, but notch 2, yeah, we're gaining it a bit too quickly for my liking. So 1 in 60, it's becomes slightly shallower. It is still more than steep enough to cause problems for pretty much any train. I mean, obviously the 220 is, you know, has a lot more horsepower than the class 37 that it would normally be using on this route, but yeah, the gear ratios on this are a lot higher because it's you know, all there for speed and not the power to you know, get up steep gradients. So we have another speed reduction coming up down to 30 as we approach the Glenfinnan viaduct. Well, we're certainly fine as far as that speed limit is concerned, but yeah, we're now going to be going slightly downhill. I'll say slightly, 1 in 80 downhill. Yeah, that's fine, that's working well. Glenfinnan station itself is now on the route display, about a mile away. So, yep, here we are at the Glenfinnan viaduct. Now 1 in 50 uphill. And we do have the near obligatory now speed reduction down to 15 as we go through the station. We're now on a 1 in 45. Oh, Jesus, this is steep. So we have a another class 37 probably waiting for us actually to get through. Now this signal is at yellow. It obviously means we can still go through it, but what about the signal at the other side of the station? Okay, the lights it's referring to, I think, or the signal rather it's referring to, are these. Okay, let's stop at this station. We'll say it's an unofficial stop. And let's just take a look. Oh, this is obtain token permission to proceed. Well, okay, yeah, we've done that. So let's get on the way. So, re-entering the 40 mph zone. There we go. Looks like we've got a fair few tourists in the area in those coaches going over that bridge. So 1 in 50 uphill, now 1 in, actually it's easing off all the time, and as a result I'm now speeding again. And it's now 1 in 45, so Jesus Christ, the gradients are changing constantly. As much as I like the running water sound, it does seem to be a bit loud when you can hear it absolutely crystal clear within the cab of the train. There isn't much to criticise for this route though. I mean, so if you like your scenic routes, this is the one to have. I mean, you do have to have the West Highland Line South, the one we did in the previous video, to be able to then get this one. But well, I'd like to think you've already seen absolutely more than enough to know that yeah, if you like your scenic routes, this is a must-have route. Rather unsurprisingly, considering that, yeah, yesterday when the video for the Helensburgh to Fort William section went up, it was Christmas Eve. It is now Christmas Day, well, Christmas night really. Yeah, I haven't had any additional questions put to me, so we're not going to have any of those to go through unless I can come up with any of my own. Certainly cannot promise that. As it is, we're getting through this at a pretty good rate. We have less than an hour to go, according to our ETA, before we are at Mallaig. And it's only, well, it's less than 22.5 miles. besides which, again, but I mean, besides which, you know, you get the chance to check out the scenery around here. You really don't need me waffling away over the top of it, talking absolute bollocks. Right, we have another speed reduction coming up. I think this 30 mph speed limit will be in effect for a fair while. I mean, you imagine being one of the guys who was here when they were having to blast that tunnel. I mean, we're talking like Victorian era. If anything went wrong, well, you're dead. There's no hospitals within fuck knows how far away. And even if there were, good luck trying to get to them. So we're in the 30 zone. In fact, this 30 zone is quite short. Within a mile we're able to go back up to 40. Still on this 1 in 50 downhill. So yeah, you've got curbs like this on a 1 in 50 downhill section. Yeah, it's no wonder it's keeping us to 30 mph. But like I said in the previous video, it's nigh on miraculous that they were able to build, you know, railway lines in this sort of terrain in the first place. So we're into a 40 zone. We'll let gravity start our acceleration. Look at that. The audio as well. I mean, admittedly, the audio enhancement has come along with the yeah, the vegetation enhancement from that Archon Powerhouse pack. This is one of the routes that is compatible with it. But I mean, believe me, it looks and sounds great even without that. If you look, yeah, take a look at the video I did on this route when I did it the other way round, starting at Mallaig, finishing at Fort William. Yeah, you'll see it. It still looks fantastic then. completely flat ground here, so yeah, I didn't need to continue braking. As it is, speed reduction to 35, so well, in our case we can accelerate up to 35. So yeah, travelling alongside the banks of whichever loch this is, I really don't know. Well, again, this 35 section is fairly short, less than a mile. We can go back up to 40. Now, it does look as though we may have timed this quite well as far as the light. In fact, to be honest, the light as it stands at the moment is really making this look even better. You can clearly see it is not broad daylight, it is getting somewhat dark, but it's still plenty enough light to be able to see everything and see how good everything looks. And the actual lighting itself is doing a really good job of sort of enhancing it all, making it all look even better. We have just over 3/4 of an hour before we are due to arrive at Mallaig. It is just under 18 miles. So I think we might actually time this well, and there will still be the last vestiges of daylight as we reach Mallaig. I mean, as far as this entire journey goes, yeah, we have now been on the go for very nearly 14 and a half hours. I thought it would take about 12. I did sort of have a bit of a doubt in the back of my mind as to whether or not we could do it at 12, you know, in 12 hours, but I thought, well, if I'm going to say it takes any longer than that, it's going to sound like I'm really exaggerating it. So yeah, I stuck with 12 hours. And yeah, here we are, 14 and a half hours, and we've still got a bit to go. So it certainly looks like it's going to take us a bit over 15 hours to do the full run. So out on 1 in 64 downhill, now 1 in 40 downhill. 25% braking and we were still accelerating. Okay, it's now 1 in 74. Now on 1 in 70 uphill. We have a speed limit change coming up to 35 mph. In our case that would be accelerating up to it. And then we have a next station. Loch Lort. As always, I am open to correction on my pronunciation of any of these place names. I mean, Scottish place names not as difficult as Welsh, but nevertheless, especially in the Highlands. Yeah, here we are. This is Loch Lort station. Again, pretty small, pretty basic. We've entered the new radio, new radio zone. So if we were in the Class 37 now, we would be having to retune the radio to the next frequency. Which makes it sound like, oh right, yeah, you really got to sort of, know what you're doing with the radio. No, you basically click and hold down the mouse button anywhere on the radio and it'll do it. It's yeah, you don't need a great deal of ability to do that. But it goes back to a point I was making earlier in the run about simulators that are trying to get the mix of level of detail alongside the fact that this is a game. You're supposed to be enjoying it. So yeah, I'm rather glad they didn't go all out for the technical side of it. You still need to do something to get it to actually work, but you haven't got to be like absolutely precise. Yeah, there's more tunnels on this section of the West Highland line than there was in the entire West Highland line south, and that part is about 3 times as long, or nearly 3 times as long as this extension part here. So 1 in 48, okay, thankfully it was not quite as steep. 1 in 50 is still absolutely steep enough. soon as I noticed that the ground was levelled out, it then yeah, becomes quite a steep descent again. 1 in 60. So we have Glen Mama viaduct coming up. This isn't it here. I don't know what this one is. So we've got another downhill section fast approaching. Here we are, 1 in 50 again. This is Glen Mama viaduct. So now on a 1 in 48 uphill. I think it's somewhere around here we pass a waterfall. It'll be to our right, but I can't remember exactly where it is. In fact, it's even possible that we have already missed it, which is a shame. It's admittedly, it does again look a bit sort of like dated. It does show how dated the graphics engine is, but it's still more than fine. Like I said in the previous video, I still think that the visuals in Unreal look fantastic. So yeah, I've got no problem with the fact that the visuals may be a bit dated, and it is very obviously still a video game. It's not photorealistic, and to be quite frank, I don't want games to look photorealistic. I want games to look like they are games. I am quite happy with them looking like this. You know, photorealism really doesn't interest me in the slightest, which is probably just as well, because we are still fucking decades away from photorealism, despite what some people will insist. So Beesdale station coming up. Looks like it's right on the side of this relatively main road. I don't know what road it is, but A something or other. There you go. So there's Beesdale Station. There's more on that station there than there is on a load of stations within central London. So we have absolutely passed the 900-mile total of this journey, and we are very soon entering the final 10 miles. So yeah, the total remaining of this journey will soon be down to single figures. Certainly looks like the longest tunnel of the entire route. So yeah, look at that, what a sight to come out to. Come out of the tunnel and you emerge at that on a viaduct over the river, and it's this scenery. So we're now in a 40 mph zone, and yeah, Mallaig is now less than 10 miles away. Just over 9.5 miles from the end of the Behemoth Run. We are heading downhill again, so we'll let the gravity do the accelerating for us. 1 in 50. We're probably going to need to brake fairly hard at the bottom of this hill because we have a 30 mph section. In fact, we're probably going to need to brake while we're on it because yeah, we are approaching the speed limit anyway. Right, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, we really got to brake hard here. Put it in the full service, there we go. So the next station, it looks like it's Arasay, which is the westernmost station in mainland Britain. I only found that out a couple of days ago from a discussion I was having with Jim, because spoiler alert, he is already planning a follow-up to this one. Needless to say, you've got a bit of time to wait before it will actually happen, because yeah, what he has in mind, again, I need DLCs that I don't have. Yeah, there is the waterfall I was talking about. So yeah, I'll say it does show the limits of the graphics engine, but it's a waterfall. What a feature to be, you know, going past whilst on a train. It looks fantastic. So of course the speed limit will be coming down to 15 as we go through Mallaig station. Well, the signal is yellow aspect, but that's still fine. We can still go through it. So we're fine for the speed limit. There you go. So we are in the 15 mph zone. So here we are at Mallaig station with another good old class 37 right there. This is a goods train. But what about this for a view? So you're surrounded by the Highlands, you've also got the coastal section there. Fantastic sight. So into 35 zone again. So the 1 in 75 uphill climb, it does not last very long though. We're very near the summit or the pinnacle of it. Yeah, here we are. Now I think for quite a bit of this remaining 6 3/4 miles we are going to be going downhill because Mallaig is very much on the coast itself. We've got to get back down to sea level. There we are, so now into a 50 mph zone. Let's get up to some decent speed. So we have a 15 mph section coming up. It's not for a station, clearly. Not entirely sure what it is there for. You've got quite a few. Okay, there is another station. I had no idea there was another station between us and Mallaig, but yeah, clearly there is, so more are. There you go. The light has changed because the yeah, the sun has got that little bit further down into the sky. So on a 1 in 50 uphill. So you'll let the gravity accelerate us. Well, we don't want to get too much acceleration because yeah, we've got quite a few yeah, speed limit changes are coming up. So yeah, this is in the 30 zone. Yeah, so we're in the we're approaching the 15 mph zone. Yeah, because of the positioning of the sun now, the signs are getting a bit difficult to read. So yeah, it's a good job we do still have the route display here, but we need it to be accurate for once. So on a 1 in 60 now. Now by the time we're into this 30 zone, we're going to be almost right on top of the 10 mph zone, so yeah, we won't be accelerating. In fact, if anything, yeah, we will be braking. So we're into the 30 zone. Here we are, so yeah, there is the 10 mph zone here. Still on a 1 in 70 uphill section as we go through Morar station. We are now into a 30 zone. And very soon into a 40 zone. But that was clearly the penultimate station. Next stop is Mallaig. Cornwall ETA, I mean, it is going to be pretty much exactly 15 hours this trip. So on a 1 in 100 downhill. Haven't used this view for a few vids now. I'll be very surprised if we get a trackside view. I'm very surprised. So yeah, fine for the 30 section, which we're now in. We're still going downhill, 1 in 85 and still getting steeper, 1 in 75, 20% braking. It's still just about enough to be bringing our speed down. And Mallaig station has now entered the route display. Yeah, right the way along the coast. So it is now 10 PM, so we have now, this route has now taken 15 hours, but we are less than half a mile from the final destination. And like I said right at the start at Penzance, we started at a fairly small station on the coast, and we are finishing at a fairly small station on the coast. Now we're not going over the points, so we don't have to go down to 5 mph or whatever it was. There is the Class 37 looking set to depart with its stock of Highland coaches. Those are the coaches I used in my video when I went from here to Fort William. But here we are. So we have made it. There we go. The whole train is on the platform. Stop here. And that was Penzance to Mallaig via the East Coast Main Line, over 900 miles, 15 hours, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We started at 7 AM and we arrived at just after 10 PM. Well, so I mean, I don't know how to sum it up. What a journey! No doubt about it. 8 speedings. I really couldn't give a toss about the improper horn use 3 times, even though I did use the horn every time I went past a W signal, so I don't know why that happened, but anyways, I don't care. I've done the full length of the trip, and yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. No other way of putting it. I mean, all of the lines that I did are routes that have appeared in other videos, so I knew what the routes were going to be like. But yeah, stringing them together to form one enormous great yeah, journey like this. Yeah, that was a great one. As for the train, yeah, the 220. I mean, it does a few things right, but it's not ideal. The brakes on it are dreadful. In the wet, the brakes are hopeless, and because you have no sander, you've got to rely on just the brakes alone and the pretty useless anti-wheel slip protection that this train has. And then in the dry, there were so many occasions where it felt like I was being bumped from behind by the other carriages. But this is a passenger service. More to the point, it's an EMU. So that didn't make any sense, and it just really confirmed to me that the brakes on this thing are dreadful. I know the 220 is far from popular in terms of, you know, passengers in real life, but yeah, it would appear that some of the features that make it unpopular were also added to the game, and I'm sure they were done so by choice, just to, you know, make something of a realistic you know, Class 220 simulation. But yeah, the train is not great. It has its moments, but yeah, there are very specific lines where I think it would do all right. But I mean, I've just done 12 different lines, and yeah, there were quite a few that had me thinking, oh, I've really not chosen a great train for this bit, you know. But all that's by the by. So the Behemoth Run is done. So that brings this video to an end at long last, and we will see you at the next one. I don't know when the next one will be, but it'll be fairly soon because I've got 4 requests all waiting to be done. So I may have a break for like a day at the very most, and yeah, the regular requests will be back. So yeah, anyway, we will see you at the next one.